So before we talked about when they push our legs on the mat, very common reaction. And the reaction we have to know how to maintain the chicken. And now we're gonna lift. So this is always, if you show somebody grilled chicken, everybody comes up with like white belt, comes up with those things. What about this and that? So this is lifting part. So now if they lift the legs, they have, let's say, you usually start this and you may change grips this way later. Because but at first it's really hard to go like this way at first. They have to go really low, but it doesn't make sense to go. So usually you do this and then you lift, and then you can, with this grip, you can push the, a bit further and force me to stack or go to turtle. So the reaction of grilled chicken would be like this. So everything is good, so they lift. And you now have, I do it fast, then I spin it. So do it again, go, push, go, push, push. And then I'm usually covering guard. So this is built to give me time to react, like a couple of seconds is enough already. So the whole structure is meant for you not to roll. So slowly do it again. So they lift, and what I do, tailbone on the mat, like my shoulder blades on the mat, and if I have to, my head on the mat also. And the trick part is really hard to explain in DVD. I don't stiffen up those hamstrings. So if they lift, and if I stiffen up, then he lifts and then I'm on my neck and it's a little bit dangerous. So this is very relaxed actually. And if he lifts the leg over my head, he has to actually come very close to me to do that. And now I get these legs, and because the thumbs are outside with this grip, I would have to use this idea of earlier, maybe even keep them away. Or if I want to go in, I can move, but just say this, and now I have to go this, go a little bit forward. So you have this move, yeah? You have this. If they change the legs, they lift here and change, now it becomes actually easier. It is way stronger to them to push because, with this grip, they can't push really far. They push that. It's really weird to push, they have to come really close. And they're giving me at the legs, and now I do the hip move. If they're changing, then they can stay further away and they can push further. But now the weak side, the thumbs are in. And now I just do windshield wipers. And still everything is tailbone on mat. And if they push, it's really, really hard to push. And now I have windshield wiper. And now usually they're close enough for me to get something. I have a grip. We'll see what happens, whatever your favorite stuff is, to go for a sweep even. But the key is you should be unrollable. And if they do it really like aggressively, and if you with t-shirt it's really, really hard. But with rush guard, I will actually slide also, and you have some smoke coming out of your head. So we try to do a little bit like more aggressively, maybe even slide. Go. Yeah, so this happens. And if you do it on this kind of judo mats, you have a little bit smoke coming out of here. But the key is not like go 5 meters. The key is like kill their like a inert, the move, and then right away pummel. So this kind of grilled chicken thing, what it's built for you to give you time. To give you time to react. And because if you would see punch coming, you would go like, oh, easy. But that's what it is. The sport is hiding the punches and everything, so we don't see it coming. So we need time. And everybody needs time. Let's say black belt against white belt needs less time. Maybe even, no time. But black belt against black belts also need time. So actually everybody needs time, and if there would be a system that gives everybody more, reaction time would be a lovely thing to have. So this is all, I'm not saying you have to stay in that slide, slide like, 5 meters. But it's just reaction and then pummel it in. So one more time. And I do it to arch around. So, and if you do it with a partner, usually in seminars, this one takes a little bit longer time to do it because I have to kind of show it on myself, on everybody. And usually it's like I have to relax people's legs because everybody gets stiff in hamstrings, yeah? And now it's like you feel it. So tailbone on a mat, head on a mat, elbows also. And now usually I tell people just relax here. And you kind of gain mobility. And you go, and then depends on a thumb outside or thumb inside, you choose your action. But usually you have to like wiggle the legs and people go relax and slowly. If you really like do this very fast, most people freak out because they're afraid. So if you slowly go and a little bit, and then most people have good flexibility, and then you can pummel in and have stuff. So be really careful so don't hurt anybody. And so this is really, really nice reaction for those lifting moments. When somebody tries to, challenge, get a quick pass or, make you roll. So you have a really nice, like a technical answer for that. And you win a lot of time by doing this. So to the next one. Continuing with this grilled chicken maintaining part. Now we go with, if they do the part that they throw legs to the side. Again, very common. We dealt with pushing them down, lifting them up, now throwing to the side. So there's many, let's say, versions, because Turandot pass is, let's say, easy pass to do, but it's different, like at least 4 or 5 versions of it. So we go deeper in that, but just the basic idea when they throw your legs aside, what to do. So do that way, go push, push up, sorry. Yeah. And now your key is to come back. So the grabs, maybe it's even better now. Let's start with grabbing the knees. So they do the push and also a little bit move in, I guess. Go. So your goal would be right now pushing the elbow, putting, even if they keep the pressure on, that's why you have this. And now the key is to actually rock yourself up and get the top leg back in. So if he has pressure, leans in a little bit, so I can't do it right away. And I go up and I shove, I do the heel kick. So knees are, you can grab the, grab pants, but you can grab also like your knees, doesn't matter. So we have an aim, maybe you lost it, maybe they did a good job, but they're passing and doing the move, so go right away. This basic structure doesn't allow me to go any further. Do it again. So if I wouldn't have that go push, then it would be here. And this angle is very weird already to push back, and usually this happens after that. And now we also show some reactions after that, but this is now the bad angle to push back. But if we keep our elbows out, this is kind of, it takes all the weight. And you can have, some cheating going on by grabbing the gi and stuff, but let's not go there at the moment. So, elbow here. So actually this leg is pretty free, because that post is there. So it kind of feels that pushing, but actually this leg is out. So, and now we're going to rock ourselves up. And heel kick. And if they even have a gi, let's say gi, and they push, then they have to change the grip, because this heel kick is kind of messing up the grip. So if I go here, we grab, and this kind of makes it very awkward, and they have to let go. So one more time. So doing this and pushing, right away this reaction, and you have it. And also it's good, but usually they move a little bit to the side with the pass, so you learn to follow them with the hips. So what I mean by that is here, another coming, yes. And now you little bit, let's say even at the moment, overturn. So what I do, I start to face my legs that way even more. So the ability to get that angle back. So do it again. So here, it's not only straight, but a little bit even over. So rock the boat, and you go in. And right away, legs are in a good position. This is very good for me to switch to spider guard. By the way, I play usually spider guard on fingers. This is totally legal, and it works good. Or you can, I also love the game of 2-on-1. And you have this, you have some different attacks, so that's usually my go-to game. So this would be the first version of countering the push, and you have those reactions, and then we move on from there. Another version, how to manage the side push. There are actually 2 directions. So like previously we pushed more legs up, so I rocked myself up, but there's actually another direction where they push my legs down, and you can do it a couple of ways. So first, let's say the more common one would be they grab the pants, the top of them, or the ankles, and they just push the legs to the side. Yeah, and also they try to pass. So my goal now, if the legs are going there and not up, I just follow my legs. Go. And I have to keep my grilled chicken, knees to the chest. And now the trick is, how do we move back? Because usually he's gonna pass the guard. So he's going there. And that's the dangerous part. So that's why I don't recommend that first to go there. Because he's gonna move also there. Go. And we're gonna end up here. So that's bad. So I'm gonna actually suggest that if they don't move, you can do that. But I'm actually going to suggest that you move to the circle, and we're going to create a centrifugal force. So let's do that one more time. So we go out, and we go here. And now on our toes, I'm going to explain how it works also with gi grips. And now the trick is that I'm defending and he's attacking. He's moving forward, I'm kind of moving backwards. But the trick of moving backwards is don't move backwards in a straight line. Move backwards in a circle. And circle means they can't speed up, because in a rally, the centrifugal force kicks you out when you speed up in a curve. So if he's going to approach me, I'm going to move around. And he can't speed up in a curve. So I'm defending, I'm a slower person, he's going to come forward, he's faster, but because of the curve, we're equals. And I have time to actually pull guard, or stand up, or do something. So the curve, it's like also like boxing, like let's say somebody chases you, you don't go back, because you're moving backwards always slower than forwards. So they get a momentum, but if somebody is rushing in your MMA and stuff, so you're going to go out, then you're going to circle. So that's how you get away from stuff. So that's really important idea. So do it again. And let's say arms, I right now grab this way. You can have this way if they grab the arm, grab leg. So you can have this also, but in certain angle it gets weird. So you can try both of them. So move to the side. So this, or I have this. This is sometimes easier to do, and it opens my shoulder more. I actually can go up, but this keeps my shoulder back. So you can play with both. And with the gi, I usually like grabbing wrists. I don't like grabbing gi because I think mechanically those things give me more advantage, and it messes up differently my shoulder. It gives certain mobility, more strength, different ways. Gi is something different. So definitely I'm not against the gi, never was, but I'm saying know the no gi first, how it actually can grip, so your style works in no gi and gi, and then add a gi grip, because then it's more universal, yeah? But you should definitely know how to grab when somebody doesn't wear gi. So one more time. So they push to the side, and now key is to this leg, bottom leg, goes out. And that's usually the trick part, that people want to move back instead of going forward, because they're going to go to my back. So I'm going to go to forward. Now I'm going to limp leg, so follow me. And we're going to go here. So you can also do it the other way. So other grip, go. You can also do this way, yeah? And then we move, and then we have a more common grip. So both we kind of do. And with the previous rocking motion, by the way, you have to actually feel which way they're pushing, because again, in the long run, it's a jab cross game on their part, because they're gonna try to break up your rhythm and make you confused which one you have to do. So let's say they do a previous stuff here. I'm always gonna go up, but then if they change direction, they go here. I can't go up. So you have a choice of going up here. And again, now I have my elbow grip, very good grip. And now if they like chase me a little bit, and I'm moving out. So later you would have to, they will trick you, but first, I would say first reaction should always be, in your case, go up. If they're pushing legs, go up. So give them like a first reaction. It might be also like, wanna right away to go that way, but give them, don't wait what they're gonna do. So if they're going like doing Taekwondo, I'm right away going up. And if they want to push my legs down, they really have to like move differently. It's not always that pretty. And then we talked about, creating that overreaction tension. And that's the feel part. And at first you may do mistakes there, because that's what the jab cross is. Because jab cross, maybe it's a jab and a cross. Maybe it's a jab, jab and a cross. So it's a different timing, different pattern, and you mess up the defense. So expect that. And get better at this, and feeling gets better. But I find for myself it's easier, let's say if even Ronald wants to push my legs down, but my reaction, early one, is so good that it's very hard to push my legs down. So push the legs down, so I'm going right away. And then even from here I can do it, or then I go. So it's kind of like a up, make them overreact, push them more harder, and then I go down. So it's a sport game in the end. And let's say from here, if you grab the ankles, then it's a little bit easier to push the legs to the mat. If you grab here, a little bit easier maybe to push, but it's kind of weird to do. Let's say if he grabs here, kind of weird angle to pull the legs down. It's not really like a easy angle to have, so go pull the legs down. Kind of like a really like a messed up. So if he has ankles, then it's easier to kind of push the legs or throw the legs there and kind of also put the legs on a mat. It just makes more sense. So push them to the side more, and then those things happen. With the knees, makes sense to push more, lean more in, do stuff like that. Yeah, and also it's weird when they have this and they try to move forward, like to the side. So because I get the legs move to the side, and I need those legs back. I need to strip that, and I need to get my toes inside. So we talk about that later. So that grip changes, and then you have hybrids. Maybe you do like an ankle and a knee. Both ankles, both knees, knee and ankle. So you have different versions. So those are the like a really, really good 2 ways to cancel stuff. And sitting up is always good. If even something happens, sit up, reset, go to butterfly guard, so to speak, and everything is good. And definitely play with different grips. So there's an elbow, there's this way, there's that way, and it depends why it's important. So grab a leg, which way they move the arm, because now if the grip is there, they're gonna have to move the arm that way. But it's kind of stuck there in between. If I do this, then releasing of this arm and my thumb direction, they kind of connect, and it's easier to go there. So both can work, and play with those things. So next one, I think we're gonna deal with more maybe precise tarandos. So we'll see about that. So a small like an add-on to the sitting up stuff would be when they grab the pants. Grab the pants and they've done this, and you have this way, that way. In some angles this is weird and this is better, so you have to feel. But now we talk about that leg. So we're going up, and the important part is, and how, it's not like you're pulling it back. Hold on tight. You're not pulling it back, but you're circling. It's quite strong, even if he grabs the tip of the pants. Yes, they can try to lift me here. If they lift me, I usually get back the grilled chicken. But this is very, very, very powerful grip to release, and then you circle again. So do it again. So here, I go up, and then we have a guard. So that's like with the pants and the gi stuff, you need to there's simple interesting, that's kind of like a genius move, kind of mechanical advantage. If I do this, it doesn't take a lot from my part. If I would just move the leg back, they would pull it in right away. But if I just do the circling and now circle, then it's good. And you can always, after that circling, stand up or pull guard, whatever you want to do. So this is with a gi, you run into that problem, so you now have an answer, like one answer at least what to do with that. So another Turando-ish move is a leg drag. There's many versions. So just to show you those 4, I think, the basic ones, and then we move on them. So they can grab both legs and play with that. They can have the knee this way and kind of drag and pull, or other way, drag and pull, and also kind of both legs kind of pushing and stepping in and kind of leg dragging. So there's I would say they're all a little bit like Turando-ish. So, but the key is right now we're gonna learn to do basically the same move that we did earlier against those side shifts. So first let's introduce the move, kind of what we want to do, the knee rule for turning the knee down. So here, and then if they pull, kind of like a bad pass in a way, but if they pull, so I need to do this. Knee has to be on a mat, down. If the knee is up, then it's easier to continue like at the double passes because it's kind of hard to pull. So I need this. And then it's about the post. Sometimes the leg is close, sometimes the arm is here, the elbow definitely. I can keep it away. And then elbow here. So it's very important that you don't put the leg on a mat. So do it again. So you don't do something like this and then cover. I think in side control situations it's better, but I don't think it's guard retention, guard keeping process is good, because leg drag would be, let's say, a low punch, and leg on a mat would equal you punch something that, if somebody punches you low, you do this, some karate chop, and it should be like somebody punches you in the stomach, you just crouch a little bit, move your elbows a little bit, not this. So I know it's like a weird kind of example of this, but I think the elbow is actually a better version than keeping the guard, because I'd rather use my elbow and keep the aim instead of just losing the aim and sacrificing and putting the leg on that. So I will give you an option to use the elbow. So do that. And even if they're, let's say, elbow is even more necessary when they're dragging and stepping in a little bit more. So, because they're doing this to me. Yeah, and now to them, I can move. So it's really important that what we did earlier, let's say here, we did earlier, we moved around, and now it's important that if you get like, let's say, this line, then you learn to move your butt from that line left and right. So this, you learn to move your elbows. And that's the guard. You don't close the legs, you don't do something stupid, and that's the move. So, and if somebody leg drags you, that's the move. So, we'll do it again. So, a leg drag and the steps in. So, that's a bad position. So, you need to usually post the elbow this. Now, knee is in danger. You turn the knee down, and right away, this leg comes back in. And now you pummel. And now you find that far shoulder, and then leg, and then you recover to your guard. Usually you get the leg back, and then you have to find your grips, whatever they are, like spider, you go under, whatever they want to do. So it's very, very important. This elbow, kind of like it's a very fast stomp. So if they go faster, and right away I want to be on my side. I don't want to stay here because they now left my side, and now it's really dangerous. It's kind of hard to stand up from here also if they do a leg drag. It's not so easy to stand up, so it's better that the force is going to your upper body. So you have to turn in. Kind of nice hook here. You can use your hip, not too much, and don't straighten your leg too much, because that's also pass and leg locks. So you go here, and then in the end, we might also show, we have to explain that spin before, how it actually happens. But that's another section. It's a good introduction actually. So now another section, so we go full circle, is how we deal with invert, how to be safe there. And so the first cycle is done, and then we can build on those sections and go more deeper maybe into the certain passing situations. But let's look at the invert next. Now we're talking about inverting. So partner stand up, and we go invert. You can go there, you can avoid that if you don't want to, but it's good to know what to do there and not get injured there, or know how to get out of that. So, went up here, and the first distance, let's go right over here. And the first distance is we're connecting, where we can touch his legs. So the important part is that aim is there, so the aim is not low, and you can touch the legs. And now the main thing is turn around, and while you're keeping the aim. That's it. And then depends again what you want. Usually they engage themselves. You want to grips, you want to sit up. So, and so you first start with this, but then usually it's a hybrid, this way, that way. And the important one is you push, and then you go double, because this from here you can't push further, far enough. So from here, and you can use also inert, and you can move out, and then you're set. So that's kind of the first thing that, let's say if we do a drill from the start, if they're here and they're going upside down like we did. So from here, now you have also a chance to reset the drill, go back. So if they go the other side, so first we had this, that they move themselves, and now I go back. But now, here I have a decision maybe to stop them and resetting the drill. So you can add that, do the drill you're starting to do. So this is very important is the aim, that the aim is the same, always the chest. Otherwise you just get stacked. And definitely you have to attack, you don't want to stay there and everything else. So another distance is when you invert, but you can't touch the legs. So a little bit trickier. So we're here and they're touching my legs, and now they're trying to let's say, push my legs to the mat. And your goal would be to turn around. That's the magic. It takes a little bit of time. Just go grilled chicken. So don't do anything, I don't know, stupid again would be a little bit maybe bad to say, but don't stretch. But if they really, and what I will explain one tailbone again here, but when they try to, if they're close enough, they can't push the legs to the mat. So if they're far enough, now they're pushing legs to the mat, and your goal would be grilled chicken. So this is very, very awesome move. And then you're back here, so you don't abandon your structure. And the third distance is when they're so far away, they want to jam your legs to the mat, and then you can't keep that structure, and then you sit up, like we did previously with the front side. So a little closer. So they're going really far, and they're pushing my legs to the mat, and now I'm falling. This is like a pause. I want to fall to this place. Again, everything is connected. And now I'm looking for a near shoulder. Whichever shoulder is forward, if this is forward, I block that. If that is more forward, I block. And now I need a post also, so I need a arm. But the important one is this is straight. So if this is bent, they're gonna push through this. So here, and then you have to see, if you can get up, it's good. But you also have to be ready that if they pass, they did this ago, then go to spin and back to grilled chicken. So there's a feeling process there that you might sit up. If you're fast enough, they might come in. So in the long run, it's a gray area of feeling. And in that area, you will mess up a lot. Developing feeling takes time. But I'm also talking about this gray area because it's about managing expectations. Because if I tell you something that this can always happen and it's not, you're gonna feel bad and you think, you're suck, that you're bad, it's your fault. No, because it's a feeling, and in a sport, those things will happen, and you have to manage your expectations. Because I think in a lot of ways in Jiu-Jitsu, we have to talk about it more. Because people expect right away after a sweep, you end up in a mount. Also, but I think it's maybe too much. So managing expectations, like after a sweep, you don't end up in a mount. That's better expectations. Because ending up in a mount is an exception already. So here also, that don't expect always to sit up. Because if they're doing like a faster job, because if I'm doing better job by keeping my tailbone on the mat, because that's the trick I want to talk about. Let's say if they wanna put my legs to the mat, I'm pushing my tailbone on the mat. It's actually not that easy. If my tailbone would be not, if I don't activate my tailbone, they will stack me. But now go. I get flexibility back, actually, and now we'll see what happens. We're gonna move around and have grilled chicken. So the same what we did here. If they lift it, tailbone on the mat, and they can't roll us. The same idea. So when we are back upside down, we have the same rule. So it's still, we are stackable, but it doesn't happen so fast, and I make them overreact. So, and if he really wants to put my legs on the mat, they have to move away. And now I have to do it faster. If they really move away, and that's the time to stand up or sit up when they're moving back. And that's the safe way. And then if I'm a little bit late, then I have to be ready for maybe spinning, maybe even if they pass, maybe even turning. Those things are not bad, or even turning. So there's a gray area of options, because as the opponents, they get smarter and they adapt, and then all those options will happen. So, but this tailbone thing is really, really important. So I do it with Ronald. If he's invert. So you have to train it really like slowly. So tailbone on the mat, and you kind of gain flexibility. And I really have to go like really a bit harder to go like push your legs to the mat. And it's a safety issue also, so you won't get stacked really fast. So it's a strange move to do. Thank you. It's a strange move to do, but it saves you in a weird way. And if your neck is important and you don't want to have neck injuries, it's good to be safe in that area. And you have time maybe to even roll the turtle, but not get stacked really much on your neck. So next we're going to talk about just pushing the legs away from invert, and that's a little bit harder section to cover. Another situation that comes what comes, you know, with the inverting is when they're trying to go like knee and belly stuff, and your guard is, you know, letting through water, kind of. As a Estonian, I would say, but let's say to this side pass, and they go here. So my goal is to not give them that space. That's kind of main thing. If it happens, then side control happens and everything else. But my goal would be that my arms are here. So if they're passing, I'm keeping my aim so they're not getting in. So other side, right away. And then I'm spinning, and then I'm going towards two legs. And then usually we fall, and then we end up here. So, but the spin kind of creates a torque, so they usually have to fall. But it's very, very important that they try to lure my arm out. Okay? They try to lure my arm out, so we'll do this, and now this happens. And you will do those mistakes, and kind of they look funny, but a very important idea is that you will do all those mistakes, but you know what to fix later. Then the sport is more enjoyable. You can enjoy more if you know what to fix and why are those mistakes and you know how to make them better. But if you don't know why you're losing, it's kind of like suffering to do jiu-jitsu sometimes. Let's say, go do the again, pass. So here, you already go back. Very important is that they have easier time passing if my aim is dead. Go. And it's already, now they're dominating the legs, and now going to spin also a little bit harder because my aim is dead. So I'm trying right away from the beginning to keep my aim. So the top leg, far leg would go in, and I use that, and now I torque myself and make them fall. So it's very important to go both legs. Just one other example is like slash guard. So you can have a slash guard this way, that is under one leg, and then you can't really close the legs, and it's kind of, you know, loose in here. You would use that leg here when I would push the leg on away, and then they would use this to make me off balance and everything else. But mostly I think it's stronger when it's, you know, behind that leg. And now they're stepping with this back leg, and everything feels heavier, and you close that space. The same happens as the leg lock. Same happens to the leg lock. So if it's on one leg, first of all, leg is exposed a little bit here. You can't close that space, and the twist around the leg is not that strong. But if you have it under the glutes of other leg, then this space is really closed. Control the top leg, heel is kind of gone, so it's way better attachment. So it's really important that when you go invert, so you wouldn't go on one leg, you have to go other hip, and then it's an important thing. And then you land. So that will be my suggestion. Otherwise you can fall off the leg. And when you start to do that spin, it's important that I do it in Ronald, that you start to spin like really like this first. Just trying to practicing like, you know, this leg or that other leg. Yes. So it's in that sense, and you know, balancing everything. So, and then you might start from, you know, elbow point. And then you have to do the grapevine, you move, and then you attach yourself. And then, you know, later you will do the pass, and then right away they force yourself up there. Because if I jam my leg to his ribs and just fall, it is already like too late little bit to push to grapevine. So you would have to anticipate that move. Already coming in, and already you're pushing me to north-south area. And when you have easier time. And when somebody decides from here that they don't want to go forward, I go back. Then you can just use this and go back to grilled chicken again. So also there is a gray area because if I'm already a couple of times fell to that trap, I will start to back away a little bit. And then they have easier time recovering that. So that's really important. Play again there. What's going to happen? If you play that as an opponent, you will adapt and you will try to mess with that jab and cross. And I try to lure out that arm. That's the sport game. So I'm trying to see if they're stretching with that arm. And if they do stretch that arm too much, that means I can start to do those passes again. So you learn really quickly to keep everything close and not expose yourself to feints and everything else. So it's like, you know, boxing stuff. So somebody punching, don't reach out so much. It's better to be here. So that's the same thing. And now I have to mix everything up to expose the structure, make them knees close, stretch, make their arm go away. So that's kind of my job in the end. So the sport part already helps to undo everything, but that's the game and that's the fun part of it. So next we will add also the invert part. We didn't discuss pushing the legs away. So that's really big part of it. When you play inverts, you have to have some answer for that. So next will be that.